We just got back from a screening of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. This is going to be a non-spoiler review for you guys. Achara is going to give us a little bit of a synopsis, also non-spoiler, just a little bit of information so you know what you're getting into with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Go ahead, Achara.
So this movie takes place several years after the first film. In fact, I would say it probably takes place with as much time elapsed as between the first film and the second. Lydia Dietz is all grown up now. She's the host of her very own supernatural show, but she has an estranged relationship with her daughter, who is played by Jenna Ortega. A tragedy ensues. They have to go back to the family home where everything started, and that's where the story begins. It really picks up there. And all I will say is that, eventually they have to call in the help of a certain Beetlejuice.
Yes. Speaking of whom, Micheal Keaton reprises his role, as well as Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara, the trifecta of this movie here, returning to those old roles. And I think that they did a fantastic job of putting on that costume again, being those characters again. Micheal Keaton is 36 years older than what he was when he did the first Beetlejuice film. And I felt that age, but I still thought he did a great job despite being at the young age of 72 years old. I thought he did a really good job of being that character again. He doesn't have the same level of manic energy that he did when he was 36, that you see in the first Beetlejuice film, but I was forgiving of that because I'm like, the dude's 72. He looks exactly the same with the makeup and the costume and everything like that. And so, given his age, I thought he did a great job. And Catherine O'Hara and Winona Ryder just fun to see them back.
Killed it.
In those roles again.
Especially Catherine O'Hara. She was my favorite. I just really love her, so far removed from reality, crazy rich lady artist. She does such a good job with that.
So, we have been on a streak of movies that are sequels to films that came out a long time ago. The first one, or the only one that comes to mind, is Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. And the way they kick off Top Gun Maverick, it's like it really takes you back in time. And I thought that this film did the same thing, the way it kicked off. It's like, it felt like you were transported back into 1988, the way it did everything, with some little updates here and there that made it a little bit more modern. I thought that was awesome. And the return to doing some practical effects. I thought that a lot of the price of admission is worth it alone for the effects and the vibe in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely were like, we're going to throw you back into the world that you came to love from the original movie. And it's great, if you enjoyed the first one, I think you're going to have a blast in this one because it's absolutely delightful. I had a smile plastered on my face from beginning to end with intermittent screams throughout. But yeah, it was fantastic.
So one of the things that this bests, I guess is the easiest way to put it, over the first movie is the violence. I'm saying this now because if there are any parents who are thinking of taking their kids to watch this film because it looks like a kid-friendly movie, it's really edgy. It's really pushing that PG-13. I'm surprised that it didn't get rated R with how violent it gets, because the first movie is not this violent as far as I recall.
I mean, I think Tim Burton's definitely the king of macabre. It's really fun, but there's some blood. That's a lot of blood.
It's not just blood, but yeah. There's some stuff in here where I'm like, whoa, I can't believe they went there. That's crazy town. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still it's macabre, It's you go, huh, and then you go, ha ha ha, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was just it was really icky and stuff. And so, but anyway, so if you got kids, just know before you go into this movie, it is it's pushing the edge of that PG-13 envelope right there. And so anyway, I also had a smile on my face throughout this film. I had some nice laughs. However, Top Gun Maverick, as a follow-up to Top Gun, was a very worthy sequel in my opinion. Okay. This is a different movie. It's it's almost like the best fan film you could ever want, which I know is something we hear a lot these days for some reason. It's we see these sequels that come out and it's a great fan film, like Star Wars sequels or whatever, right? And so here, I got a similar feeling where it's it felt like the best Beetlejuice fan film you could ever have because you had original cast members involved and all that stuff. And so with that in mind, it's its its own vibe in a lot of ways. In fact, in the first 30, 40 minutes, I would say, it almost felt like there were two directors. It felt like there was the B unit, or the second unit, doing the Jenna Ortega stuff, who, by the way, did a fantastic job in this
Super
movie.
good.
I felt like in the first 30, 40 minutes, like all the Jenna Ortega stuff was handled by a second unit, and all the other stuff with Winona Ryder and Micheal Keaton and Monica Bellucci, that was handled by Tim Burton until these characters crossed paths. You know what I mean? Then
Sure.
it really felt like fully a Tim Burton film.
Yeah, no, I mean it was great. And talking about Monica Bellucci, I thought that she was a wonderful addition to the movie. She's still got it, you know. She's still hot. She's sexy, and she's scary as hell. And I really like what they did with her in the beginning. Although as you get on with the story, you do feel her absence.
Yes.
And she comes back.
Yes, I did feel like they underutilized her. Whereas Willem Dafoe, they utilized him perfectly. I thought he did a great job. He was a scene stealer. He was so much fun as an addition to this movie. And Jenna Ortega, like I briefly mentioned that she did a really good job. She's just a fantastic actress in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so she has to be this like annoying teenager. You have feelings about that.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, she was just really, really mean to her mom, and I think I just kind of felt bad because I was like, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, but like she has a, you know, like any good movie, she's got a transformation in this film, and I thought that she does a really nice job of going through that transition in the film and transforming.
Yeah, and I would say that the relationship between mother and daughter was what really kept me grounded in the story, and it surprised me with how much heart it had because there were moments in the film where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling a little tear want to bubble up, you know, which I wasn't expecting.
So there was one actor in the film that I didn't like, and that was Justin Theroux. I know that your feelings were positive for the right reasons. Mine were just completely negative towards him, but go ahead.
Okay, well, he's just a terrible character. And so I think that as an actor, he was actually doing his job really well because I hated Rory. I was like, please throw him in the trash. He's gross.
So I understood what his task was, what the assignment was. I just felt like he maybe, for lack of a better word, over-delivered. You know?
Too muchy, dial it back.
Yeah, I would have, the whole time I was watching him, I'm like, you know who would be great in this movie is that guy from Succession. He was also in Deadpool and Wolverine.
No, Matthew McFadden?
Yes, like, he had 4 years as that dude. I'm like, get that guy. He's perfect for this role because there's an earnestness to him and a believability as like someone who maybe he does really care about this person. You know, maybe he's not gross underneath it all. Oh, no, he's gross. Like, you know, like that kind of riding the line. I think that Matthew McFadden would have done a much better job of owning that role.
I think tonally, probably the way Justin Theroux did it worked for this movie because it is just a little bit over the top. I feel like all of the characters, especially like the more negative ones, I suppose, or the ones who have negative aspects, like Beetlejuice, like Delia Dietz, it makes sense for them to just kind of really lean in hard because that's where the comedy lies.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, I still couldn't help my feelings about him. You know, it's like there was no point where I ever believed him. That's my point. It's like he always felt like underhanded from the word go. And maybe
smarmy.
Yeah, maybe that has something to do with the writing and the direction for that particular character. I just felt like you put Matthew McFadden in there like a talent like that, it would have worked so much better, in my opinion. But like, I'll let that go. Anyway, you want to talk about the music real quick?
Oh yeah, the music. Oh my God, I was so happy right from the start, and they've got like the Beetlejuice theme and everything. Danny Elfman's back, and the score was fantastic. I think that really helped. In addition, with all of the sets and costumes and everything and just the vibe feeling the same, I think the music really, really helped to bring you back into that world. And then the choices that they made for the soundtrack music as well, I thought were really, really delightful.
Yeah.
So everything was just like really cute and fun and tongue-in-cheek. And I think it's just such a great opportunity to go back into the world with a brand new story with characters that we know and love.
With regards to the movie score, I agree with you 100%. With regards to the soundtrack with regards to the soundtrack music, I agree with you 42.5%. And so
you're
like,
always difficult with soundtrack music.
I would have, but like I tried to just accept it as like part of the vibe for particular characters. But I was just like, I don't need this. But it was all right. It was fine. I wanted want to go into something that some people might consider a spoiler. On a scale of 1 to 100, I'd say that this is like a 15% in terms of a spoiler.
What?
Yeah, because I just want to talk a little bit about like the latter half of the movie. And so if you guys don't want anything ruined at all, not even like a modicum of information, then this would be the time to leave. And thank you for hanging out. The last thing I want to talk about is just Beetlejuice himself and his utilization in this movie. I felt like it would have been so much cooler if they modeled this after the first movie a little bit more in terms of the structure of the film, you know, because they had a lot of front end stuff with jokes and ha-has and breaking the fourth wall with Beetlejuice. And I'm like, I would have been much happier with less of that. And then like, have most of his talking come after that big reveal of Beetlejuice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like after that, he sort of just, it felt like he was coming in and out of the film. I'm like, no, like I came here for him. That's what I paid for.
But you came here for him. That's why they front-ended with him. Because everybody came for Micheal Keaton Beetlejuice.
I have one word for you. Flip. Just flip it. It's like they don't front end, like get him on the other end. You know, I totally understand the notion that it's like, we all know who Beetlejuice is. There's no mystery there anymore.
Yeah.
I get that. But, you know, Christopher Nolan proved in The Dark Knight Rises, you can have an hour without Batman before he shows up, even in the third installment. It's okay. So I would have loved it if they just like saved him, like make the audience really crave it and then really like, you know, hit you hard with all that.
Launch into it.
Yeah. And give me more of that manicness, because it just felt like he kind of disappeared from the movie, like at times, and that really frustrated me. And then the film kind of ended so abruptly. I was like, what? How did we already finish? Like
They did wrap it up very neatly at the end.
Yeah, it felt like we got to the finish line way too quick. And so I don't know what that's about. Nevertheless, I had a fun time. I was smiling a lot. I was so happy to see these characters back, and I do hope that they do even more. You know, that's it. So,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like 10 out of 10, I would watch it again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
you guys, thanks so much. Peace out.